All right. I think we can go ahead and get started. So, last week at the end of the stream, I was working with Timescale, just testing things out, just trying to see if we can get something to connect and send some data over, and then potentially have that come back. Well, I figured out what my problem was. So there's a couple commands that I needed to do, which essentially creates the database. And let's go ahead and say use timescale. Okay, so create. Hey, Ball Geek, how's it going? We had to create a relational database, and that was the first thing that. Oh no, that's use timescale. Getting started. I slept a couple times. So we're just going to say create your first timescale service, connect to your service, ingest some real-time financial data into your data, and then let's see if this will do it for us. But essentially what I did is I didn't realize what happens is it creates two types of databases in the back end. You have your, let me see if I can get the configuration opened up on this. Edit connection. So I was trying to connect to the Postgres database, and what I needed to do is connect to the TSDB. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna disconnect from these, I think, because you can only have one device connected to them simultaneously. So if I'm connected in my Node-RED instances, I can't connect inside of my it only accepts one connection. I probably can configure that to change that. I'm not too concerned about that right now. That's not what we're going to spend today doing. So do I have this constantly going? No. Okay. So I did a little bit, maybe this one's going, yeah, every 1 second. And we're sending data now to this one. You can actually see the payload, data generation, and so forth. Turn that off. And over here on the right-hand side, I do have a dashboard. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. And make sure I get the right IP address, all that fun stuff. Because it's going to be, it might be over here actually. Alright, I'm just gonna have to figure out what the IP address is, because I did start creating some dashboards for this, and then so give me a second while I figure out that IP address, because I don't remember off the top of my head. I wonder if I've got that here. Settings, device logs. Yeah, I was having issues with the connection to the tunnel. So let's get started. Actually, let me find out my IP address. And you won't see all this because I'm working on the other screen. seeing this. Actually, ipconfig, ifconfig. And it is .12. Perfect. Okay. So 192.168.222.12 colon 18. I believe that will be it. My brain, I was up in the middle of the night last night for a call, so my brain is running a little bit slow right now, so you might have to have some patience with me today. And once we get the ball rolling, we're going to move quicker. Alright, actually, no, that's that. So I was only going to try to pull up the dashboard, but I forgot what the IP address of this machine was and the port number. And I can do that, but you guys aren't seeing any of that, so that's why it's like boring content. Okay, CD out. CD. And I need to go to this tab. So basically, flow fuse as a service, Windows. And I usually already have all this run up. And I just need to see configuration for this real quick. Yeah, that's what it is. I am sorry about this. I usually would have this already set up for you guys, but we're gonna get started. Don't worry. There we go. Really? Oh, really? It's the default port. I should have started that from the get-go. Okay. Alright, so text input. Temperature. File upload. Mhm. Yep. All right. So, what do we have here? Chart. It says temp and temperature dashboard. Temperature. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're good. So, when I run this, we're gonna populate this dashboard in theory. Sorry, I'm still jumping through. Let's clear some tabs up. Okay. I'll have to look at that in a little bit. Maybe we'll build it again. All right, so basically we're gonna just start over and we're gonna build this out and we're gonna create a new timescale instance and we'll just have fun with it. So we're gonna do time series to analytics and we'll do east. I'm gonna move this up just a smidge so you guys can't see the password and it pops up. North Virginia Energy create service. All right. So the first thing we need to do is connect to the PSQL. And actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna connect to a dbeaver. And we're gonna create a new one. And we're gonna copy the service, the host name. And the port, 6475. 36475. And this is the part where it said database name. We have to do TSDB, time series database. And then I will pop my password in here. And we'll test connection real quick. Connection error. Okay, so I didn't put my admin in there. Well, that defeats the purpose of that password not being seen. Oh well. We'll delete it afterwards so nobody can do anything fun with it. Alright, so let's connect. Okay, perfect. Databases, TSDB. And then I believe it's under roles and then storage. I expanded all these and I had to figure out where it was last week. All right, so what we'll do is we'll create a new script. And the first thing we're gonna do is create a hyper table. Create table. Yeah. And we're gonna leave this runs timestamps, location, temperature. And then first thing we're gonna do is just create the table. So I'm gonna run that area. Conditions already exist. All right, make sure we're in the right. Okay, so it ran. We've got a, and then next thing we do is turn that into a hyper table. Perfect. And where did those tables show up? Yeah, this is just a role user admin configuration. Let's just refresh this. No, I saw this before. Databases, TS. Why is this so confusing to me? Because I just created that, and so now I'm looking for a table called conditions. And if I came over here, this database is Postgres. Yeah, there we go. And that was in there. Okay. So we've connected to it. We've pushed data there. We're just going to know it's there. I can't find it. My brain's not wanting to work with me, so we'll just call it as what we can do. Let's go back over to the script, and we're going to just do a test. And we're going to paste these values and we're going to run that. And there we go. Cool, great. And then if I do select star from conditions, is that right? There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, and then we see the data in our system. So it works. I don't know why I can't see it. It's probably just the structure of the time series database. It's just not where I would expect it to be. So we are now going to disconnect from this. No. And we'll minimize that. We're going to open up a new page, and we're going to do an inject function. Well, Postgres, and then we're gonna get a name. Gonna call this demo, and server. We're gonna add a new server. We're gonna slowly call this Timescale. Wait, I don't want to update. I want to create a new one. Demo. And we're going to drop in our host. We're going to drop in our port. And then our database name, which is TSDB. And security-wise, we'll have our admin. And our password. Thank you for not putting that in clear text. And then select star from conditions. That's gonna be the first thing. Let's just see if we can get this data back from it. Looks like it's so far so good. Deploy all. And self-signed certificate chain. We had this to false. Let's just see. Yep, there we go. So now we see our temperatures. So the next thing we want to do is basically drop in. So this is our, let's say, collect data from database. That's probably why I was not working on the chart, is because it was just too much data. Because I was looking at it the other day, and I probably need to look at the last 24, let's say last 24 hours in my search query, but not too concerned about that right now. That can be for a future. The biggest thing I wanted to do is just connect to one and start that configuration. So we'll copy this. Excuse me. And we're gonna actually send data now to that and do what's this fun stuff, drop it right in on top of that. And we gotta convert it to kind of look similar to this. Just leave that there for now. And data generation, we're gonna set this to time. And if I click on this little book, I think it shows, yeah, perfect. Just gonna set timestamp to time, and then delete that one, and then I'll do a change node to drop this in there. And so we'll actually not use the time at all. And then we need to add location. Location, let's just type in location. And temperature. And we're gonna do delete all these. But I need to know to configure the location. So domain country. We'll just do city. And then temperature will be a float between, let's say, 68 and 72. So it's going to create a float number between the two. Actually, I can't, because I believe we created that as an integer double precision. What data type is that? Is it a double precision float point? Can't remember what a double is. I mean, no, it's like a double word, but what does it represent? Is it float or is it? .15 precision. Perfect. So we can do a float. Perfect. So we'll save that. Deploy it. I might cheat a little bit just to see how we saved. Sent data. So the data generator, and then perfect. can copy that. It's relatively the same. But what we're going to be doing is, it looks like this works fundamentally. And oh yeah, we were able to do it kind of like, what's that called, mustache. So we're gonna say time, location, temperature. Make sure that's the same structure we did. Time, location, temperature, yep. And message.payload.city, message.payload.temp, except for its temperature. And then values of now, because we want to send the current time stream. So really we don't need this anymore, because we're just going to be setting the payload, or just going to be using the current time frame. And then debug. And what this will do is write, okay, let's just see how many data points we have now. Location. Let's payload city. Location. Perfect. So there we go. And just as simple as that with this particular node. This node is the manage palettes, and it's the node grid contrib Postgres SQL node. To see that, let's see if we can just copy that over and see if we can get the details on it. That's this one right here. And we're probably gonna call this a short. I was up at pretty early this morning. And all we had to do is more or less create the table. And at the same time, what we can do is like, let's do something real quick. We're gonna create a table from here. And we're gonna say, we're just actually gonna put, come on. It will probably give me an error saying we can't do that. No, not locally. Create table. And we can just copy this here. Instead of conditions, we're gonna call this time my new DB. We'll just call it my new DB. Just use the same conditions here. They create a hypertable. And let's just see what it does. See if it gives us any issues. Error conditions is already a hypertable. Oh, oops. Gonna convert conditions here. And done, deploy. And there we go. We have now created a hypertable. And now we can add data to that particular one. So I just really wanted a quick way for us to do that. If we want, we can also just throw a chart in here. Let's just do a chart. Collect data from the database. We're gonna drop this in here. Let's say this is, since this is temperature, actually, you know what, we'll create a new group and we'll call this add new UI page. Call this city temperature, since we already have we need to keep it a UI base of dashboard. We're going to call this city temp. And we'll just keep everything else the same. Add name. And then what we're doing is we're going to do a timescale. And this is going to be key value. Let's just save it real quick. the other one. City temperature. And it's going to be time is XY axis. It's going to be time. And then the series is going to be location. And the y-axis is going to be temperature. And then we're going to point style. We're going to make this a line chart, show legend. And we're going to run that. Let's see what we get. All right. So I think got a little things I could fix up here. Let's see what we got wrong here. I'm going to switch over to this other one and see what I did. So location, time, temperature. Yep, last hour. Location, time, temperature. Location, time, temperature. Yep. And then we did time scale. I didn't want to do what's called a clear it out before we run it again. So if I click on change, I was trying to be cool. And we're gonna set message.payload to a JSON. What this does is basically just clears out the chart. So if there's already data in the chart, it kind of sets it up. So now you can start seeing temperatures coming in at different times. Really would be better if we had just like 3 or 4 cities that kind of like rotated out, but right now it's just like picking any random city in the world and dropping it in there, so it's not really creating a trend line. So that's why I think I switched over to a bar chart, and that's just sample data. So if we change it to a bar, click done, and beautiful, done. There we go. Now we got 77. Okay, let's fix this real quick. That is y-axis is temperature, and we need to say location. That should be right. Location. Location. That's what it was. Maybe I just need to refresh this. There we go. Okay, so now you've got the different temperatures. We didn't have a location on one of those, so it just populated with the bad string. And you could also write a, let's say, select star from conditions where. So let's see if we can get something real quick. Select star from where temp or take last value for column. Last function, let's see how that works. Select the last. Select last, and we'll say what is our field name? Location from conditions, and then we'll just close that. Don't need that anymore. Number of rows per message, select location from conditions. See what happens. Done. Delete that. Function last does not exist, so Postgres SQL last value. last value, maybe? We'll probably just call this a day in a second if we can't figure this out from location. Something tells me that's not gonna work, and we're just gonna call it a day. Yeah, I figured that was gonna be the case. So we gotta select star and then do last. Okay, let's just give it a shot. Star from conditions. Last location. Is that gonna be? That doesn't seem right. Select those. See that then it just actually has it as a comma, so we're selecting last value of location. That didn't work. Over clause. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna call this a day. I could probably use ChatGPT, but I'm gonna call it. I just want to make a quick stream how to get data into a time series timescale database and make it pretty quick and easy. We could spend more time on SQL commands, but for now, I think we solved it. So hope you enjoyed it. And next on this Thursday, we will be having a stream with our webinar with Belina. Make sure you sign up. To sign up, go to flowfuse.com, and I'll drop the link in the chat. Make sure you sign up, check it out. We're going to be talking about fleet management. That's where I've been spending a lot of my time, just kind of figuring that stuff out, but we're going to be doing fleet management. So some of the things we'll be doing is, if you're not familiar with Belina, it is a fleet management tool that kind of sits on thin hardware. I'd say thin, more of like just edge hardware. So Belina.io, I believe. And the way it will work is we're going to deploy a couple of Raspberry Pis and put Belina on them, and then we're going to deploy FlowFuse to those devices, and then we're going to put a couple other applications and communicate back and forth between them. Real straightforward, but pretty cool way to say, if like let's say you have a fleet of vehicles, you can really get that up and running and automatically provisioned and start passing data back and forth real quickly if you have that available on that device. So make sure you come check it out, and thank you so much for joining today, and talk to you on Thursday. Thanks.